planning for Brainwiz MUN 2014 interestingly started at the closing ceremony of Brainwiz MUN 2013, where Tarush decided that, and Tarush and Nehal and all of us decided that the next edition of Brainwiz would only be exclusively for school students, because we debated and discussed how school students are always fun to deal with, and they are well researched and well prepared and always have a fruitful discussion.
Brainwiz MUN 2011 saw 5 committees with almost 200 delegates. We had Dr. Sanjay Dubey, who was the director at the NHRC, who came as the chief guest for the opening ceremony. Dr. Sanoj Rajan, academics program head for Southeast Asia for ICRC, came as the chief guest at the closing ceremony. We had the support of ICRC for the MUN, and they provided literature for all the delegates. Brainwiz MUN 2012 saw a little growth wherein we simulated 7 committees at this very venue. We had association with WAPCOS and RO Foundation, and this was the first time when we introduced exclusive committees for school students. Brainwiz MUN 2013 went on to be even grand when we simulated the conference in 3 different countries, that is 7 committees here in India, 2 committees in Bangladesh and 1 committee in Switzerland. We got collaboration with the United Nations Youth Associations of Bangladesh and Switzerland, who helped us simulate those committees there. We also had the support from the American Center, and Dr. Walter T. Douglas, who is the Minister Counselor for Public Affairs, came in at the conference as the Secretary General.
We chose MUNs because it's the most dynamic extracurricular activity, and through which students are able to portray their views on world issues, and they're able to negotiate and become a problem solver, and it definitely accelerates their decision making power as well.
MUNs and debates in particular can play a very crucial role, because the sessions that you have with school students on how to teach them to research, that I think is a very important tool, because that not only helps them in that particular grade, it also helps them in higher education, right? Because whichever stream you go into, you're going to be doing research, right? And how is it that you become a good researcher? When you are taught how to prioritize your sources, what information to take, and how to interpret it. Because the core of a good munner is not just to take the information, it's also to analyze and interpret, right?
The only 2 words that stuck to my mind were Sangharsh or Nirman, to struggle and to build. I believe the entire mankind has evolved around these 2 words. I believe these 2 words match whatever we do at MUNs, whatever we do at the UN, whatever we do anywhere. So, I don't know how many of you take back whatever from an MUN conference. You would have attended a lot of those conferences. A lot of you would be attending your first MUN conference. But just 2 little words, and if you understand the depth of these words, it will create a huge difference in your lives. Sangharsh or Nirman.
Each one of you is an important part of the world. And if you all were to change, you can imagine the impact on the world as a whole would be enormous. So take this moment and seize it and do what you can to bring about change in the right direction, because there is much that needs to be corrected in this world, and that correction will have to come from you. So please persevere, and I'm sure you will prevail. So with these words, I'd like to declare this important meeting open.
I'm the 10th grade. I'm the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Our agenda is to discuss the impact of climate change with a specific focus on freshwater resources.
So the idea behind doing a committee like the United Nations Framework on the Convention of Climatic Change was that in MUNs we rarely see any committees which directly tackle with the problem of climatic change, and hence we thought that doing such a committee which talks about the impact of the climatic change on freshwater resources would give much more insight to the delegates about this problem at hand, and seeing that it is one of the most innovative committees that we have come up with.
The idea behind doing the Security Council is actually not a new one. The Security Council is considered to be the powerhouse of the United Nations. It is one of the most powerful committees, and the committee that actually is on the ground taking action. And this time we have a conventional Security Council discussing the agenda of Pacific dispute settlement in the region of Mali. which I particularly believe is one of the most innovative things that we could have done with the Security Council, because Pacific Dispute Settlement is at the heart of the Security Council, and the delegates, I think, will get an adequate opportunity to learn how the actual Security Council functions.
The human rights are something which are given within the preamble of the United Nations Charter itself, and protection of such human rights becomes of the utmost importance for the United Nations, and hence the United Nations Human Rights Council was simulated. And with the growing wave of feminism, we believe that it was necessary for us to have an agenda such as the application of the CEDAW.
Our topic basically centers around the application of CEDAW with particular emphasis in the Islamic states. This is because in Islamic states there have been various reservations to numerous articles of CEDAW which ensure the equality of men and women. These reservations arise from the different interpretations of Sharia law.
Doing the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime was actually not much of a choice. It was a committee that I think we all agreed upon as a committee that is very innovative, that is actually again doing a lot of very substantial work in the area of actually reducing crime all around the world.
And I represent Afghanistan in the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime. The topic of the committee is the role of narcotics in organized crime and conflict zones. The committee is focusing on the narcotics role all over the world and how they're destroying lives of youth and general people.
There has been a lot of debate that has revolved around the signature as well as the ratification of such an additional protocol by the IAEA. And the peaceful usage of nuclear energy is something that has been at the hub ever since the signing of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and its effect in 1971. So we believe that IAEA and the application of the additional protocol became very important for us, and hence we simulated the IAEA.
I'm in the IAEA and I'm representing Finland, and our agenda is to amend the Safeguard Treaty, and recently we have just talked about countries which haven't signed the treaty and how they can sign the treaty. By the end of this session, we want a resolution so that the countries which haven't signed the treaty also sign and peace is maintained in the whole world.
MUN. It was really very nice experience. I didn't expect much of this, but I learned a lot. The executive board was really very nice. As my committee had many first timers, so the executive board was very lenient and they were very friendly. I really love the executive board, and I'll surely do an MUN next.
We've been given our own gavel, and I was really shocked when I received my own individual gavel. So it was really amazing. The executive board was really amazing, and I hope I'll make sure that I come back next year.
So it's been like I left my job for this Brainwiz MUN. It's really difficult for me to organize this MUN, and this MUN is really close to my heart. I would like to thank UNIC for their immense support, for providing us charters, for providing us UDHR, and for their providing us venue for the training sessions. I'd like to thank all the teachers, all the schools for coming and for being very cooperative at every instance of Brainwiz MUN. I would like to thank all the delegates for coming for Brainwiz 2014 and making it legendary. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. That's it from my side. Thank you.